Welcome to Phoenix Rise Connect, where businesses, creators, and powerful ideas come together. We provide businesses with a platform to share their story, demonstrate their products, and connect with new audiences around the world. Through professional live interviews, engaging podcasts, and authentic conversations, we help brands build visibility, credibility, and trust.
There you go. I said it was 30 seconds. Hey, Jackie, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm sort of blending in. I was like bored with my home background because everybody kept making comments that it was my real background. So I was just like, do you know what? Actually, I'm not going to kid everybody no more. No, I don't live in New York, and no, I don't own a large piano, but I would love to. But with Jackie's help, she's going to actually help us, give us some real big tips as music artists, how we can make the big bucks, and how we can live our dreams as musicians. Isn't that right, Jackie?
Absolutely.
Fantastic. So, Phoenix Rise Connect, as you know, we are bringing the businesses to you as artists, okay? So, we did it the other way around with Phoenix Rise. We were bringing the artists to the businesses and showcasing all of the things that you can do. 460 episodes later, we decided let's do it the other way around and let's bring the businesses to the artists and get you some extra help as you grow in whatever genre you're in, and also whatever music you decide to pick up on. There is lots of businesses out there who are willing to give you help and also willing to give you support as artists to get you to be where you want to be and have your dreams met where your dreams may be. So today's episode, we have got Jaki Nelson from Jaki Nelson LLC, and we're going to get to know a bit about Jackie's life, okay? Welcome to the show. It's a Friday. Fridays for you. What's Fridays like for you normally? What do you normally do on a Friday?
Work.
Work.
Usually, I'm usually at the end of a deadline cycle. So I'm trying to finish whatever writing project I have due for that week. I'm trying to get recordings off to the producers so that they can evaluate it over the weekend in case they have revisions or anything. And then I send stems on Monday.
Jackie, you're far too busy. Friday's a day for pizza. It's a day for relaxing and just, not doing anything. It's that wind down day in the UK. Or like for you, is it like heavy handed?
I do cut out early on Fridays. I do. I got forced into that by my boyfriend because he needs me to have more work-life balance. So I cut out at 4 o'clock on Fridays. So it's like not as long as usual.
What is that as long as usual? Come on, what time do you get up in the mornings?
I get up at 9. I'm usually in the studio by 9:30, and I'm done by 8 p.m.
Yeah. Let's all imagine 8 p.m. Are you an 8 p.m. finisher, or does it go on all night?
If it was left up to me and I didn't have a partner that wants my time, I would absolutely work all night. When I lived by myself, I did. It was great. It was awesome. I miss
it. We all have partners who want our time, isn't it? But as artists and as also business owners, we just we could work 24/7, 7 days a week, couldn't we?
Be perfectly happy, yeah. That's basically what I did in COVID.
Anyway,
it was awesome. I loved it. I was like, absolutely. You want me to stay home in my house and find stuff to do? Are you kidding me? I never have time to do this stuff. So I started working out. I was working out 2 hours a day. I lived on top of a hill, so I would run the hill, and I had dogs. So I'd run the dogs up and down the hill, and then after a while I started separating them. So I'd do one and then I'd do the other, and then I started doing home body weight workouts for 45 minutes, and then I'd just be in the studio for the rest of the day. And at the same time, I actually was contacted by my mentor. His name is Larry Nacht, and he reached out to me through a platform that I use called Songwriter, and that's where I get a lot of my business. But he wasn't looking to work together in that way. He wanted to just collaborate, and I was like, yeah, I'll take a call. Sure. We hopped on a phone call. And this was when this was like what, like, I had done a lot of things. I had been on tour. I'd done all that, but like my recording level wasn't it's not where it's at now. But anyway, he was like, yeah, let's write some songs. I've worked with Nicki Minaj, Charlie XCX, everybody, Prince. Like, he's been around forever, but he doesn't like the spotlight. So, for instance, on certain songs that he knew he wrote a hit, he will actually go under a pen name because he does not want people to know who he is. And
wow,
it's so funny.
I'm so proud of that repertoire. Jeez.
Yeah, no, he just wants to write songs in his little house in what's the really nice part of New York? I forget. Long Island. There we go.
Long Island. Wow.
Yeah. So we wrote so many songs. We wrote, I think, 80 songs during COVID.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
80, that's a lot. Let's start right at the beginning. Let's get you right at the beginning, okay? From like your career, okay? So one of the biggest things that we saw from your bio coming in was this magic number that nobody would really get to, or not anyone would think that they'd really get to. 200 million streams, and that's done without a major label or traditional team behind you. You know, take us back to the beginning. You know, where it all started out for you as a musician. You know, when did this all start?
So I was actually born into a music family. My dad was a rock and roller in the 70s and 80s. He worked with, he did a lot of work with like the Beach Boys. He was in the studio, and he's on a lot of their records. He worked with ELO, Tanya Tucker, Leon Russell, a lot of people. He was like the guy. He was a singing drummer, so he was very, he could be put in a lot of places. So he did a lot of work in the music industry, and then he had kids and had a few near-death experiences with planes, and decided that he was going to get into real estate. But then he divorced his first wife, my mom. They got married, had me, and then and my mom's she was a sign language interpreter. So really far to the other direction. But when I turned 13, she started taking me to voice lessons because they had done the same thing with my sister. And so we get there, and my mom kind of starts looking around, and she's an entrepreneur at heart. And so is my dad, and so am I. And she's looking around. She's like, I could turn this into a much bigger business. And she did. She turned it into a 3-part business. There was the music school, there was a dance school, and there was an acting school. And she basically took over the entire plaza. And so I just was raised there. I kind of did that alongside high school. And by the time I graduated high school, I was producing music and writing songs and recording them and doing all that stuff.
Just a bit of everything then.
Yeah, kind of everything. The only thing I didn't do was cello lessons. I really wish I did that.
Cello lessons? Why cello lessons?
It's my favorite instrument.
What made you have that? Okay. So you didn't get a chance to do that. You was too busy doing everything else.
I just didn't know it was my favorite instrument. I thought, I don't know. I just didn't. I didn't take well to guitar, so I didn't think I'd do well with another string instrument. But I wish I had tried.
Let's be realistic. You know, we all talk about getting to the magic numbers. You know, 1.6 million streams per month. Yeah. You know, and I've had my Spotify bill come through, and I've been very disappointed because of 0.0.05 of earnings, and like I really feel as though all that effort making that song hasn't actually given me any revenue. What does 1.6 really actually account to when you get a check for at the end of the month? You know, is it coming with 5 figures, or does it?
I only get a check every 6 months, and it's about 10 grand.
Wow. Okay. So that is still an absolute amazing earning.
Yep. I'm definitely not complaining.
I can see there's a big smile on your face. I think a lot of artists, you know, would love to get to those sub numbers, but you know, not everybody makes those numbers. And you know, everybody would like to get to those numbers, and they will actually even desperately pay for those numbers through bots. But you know, for you, what made you? Don't do that. What made you get to that? You know, what effort went in to be able to get to 1.6 million streams?
So it was a bit of timing and luck. Going back to COVID, remember how I said I was making music in the studio all day? Prior to that, I had been focusing a lot of my attention on social media, and it wasn't getting me what I wanted. It was sort of, but because I was like on tour and stuff, but it didn't feel quite right. And so when COVID happened, I decided, okay, I'm just gonna put the social media stuff to the side for a second, and I'm just gonna focus on making music. And I made a ton. And the reason that I was able to was because all the studios were closed, and there's all these songwriters and singers, and they're, you know, the most in demand and stuff, but they don't have studios. They're not music producers. I am. And so I had the music studio ready to go, and all of a sudden, you know, all these bedroom producers still need a singer, and I had all this work coming in, and one of them was the Seven Nation Army guy, DJ Fluke, came to me. That was definitely during COVID. And he asked me to do a cover of Seven Nation Army, and I did. And we put it out, and it wasn't like, it didn't catch fire immediately. I think after like a month, I think it had like 13,000 views, somewhere in there. But then Nicole Scherzinger, the singer from Pussycat Dolls, she posted a video of her working out to it. And she tagged it.
Okay.
Yeah. And all of a sudden,
I gotta stop. This is not like normal, okay?
Yeah.
You're making it all sound really normal, okay? So when Nicole Scherzinger posts a video of your song, she's working out to it.
Which is crazy, because I was obsessed with Pussycat Dolls as a kid. Like, I was obsessed. I used to like watch it.
Doesn't just happen. You're making it sound as though it's normal. I'm sorry. Make it sound as though, oh yeah, I just said Nicole Scherzinger. She was just dancing to the song, you know. It's like, oh come on. Seriously, you must have been like down the street, phoning your mum, phoning your friend, phoning the boyfriend.
I didn't have one, but I was. I would have.
Well, when you posted out, and there was a lot of boys who actually probably contacted you there because you were so famous. You know, that thing just doesn't happen. You know, and I love the fact that you're so calm about it. I'll be going mental. I'll be like, oh my God.
It was a gift, for sure.
But that's not, come on, that's you. Come on, you know, this does not come. And I think artists don't reflect enough on their own strength and their own ability to be able to make that type of music. That type of music just doesn't come from nowhere. That comes with time, it comes with patience, it comes with blood and sweat. You know, at the end of the day, you put a lot into your music to get it to that standard, to be able to have someone like that listen to your music.
I did. Towards the end of the music school period of my life, I had a teacher who was, I was trying to get better at recording, and she was just like, the only way to do it is just to record all the time. And so I did. I experimented with it in every way you can imagine, and some you can't. And by the time the opportunity to do the Seven Nation Army came around, I was very prepared to do it.
Fantastic. But you know, you've also got Masters of Publishing. You know, how important is it to retain the rights to your own music, you know, and also you help success of other artists as well?
Okay, first thing, you don't attain your rights to your own music. It is yours.
Okay, it is ours.
Publishing is intellectual property. It is yours. If you created it, if you thought it up, it's your intellectual property. So, and labels these days are very comfortable trying to take your publishing, and they just put it into contract, assuming that you won't say anything. No, they didn't think of this song. They don't own the right to it. It's not theirs. In fact, publishing shouldn't even be mentioned in a master's contract, like in a label contract of in any place, other than we have no right to that. That's all. That's publishing. Unless you're getting a publisher, which is a different situation. And don't get an admin publisher, honestly. You can just do it. They literally just take a cut of everything that you make to organize your stuff. Like, you can just upload your own stuff to ASCAP or BMI or whatever PRO. Anyway, masters. I personally like to just always go with Nashville splits regardless of who did what, really. If you don't know, Nashville splits just means equal shares. So if there's two parties, it's 50-50. If it's three parties, it's 33, 33, 33, and so on. I just like to keep things fair. There's no sense in like, oh, well, you know, I wrote 60% of this thing. Like, no. So yeah, that's how I like to
Yeah,
artists.
Does that put artists off? Because I've had many artists who I work with who are very concerned about people, you know, owning rights of a certain amount of the song, especially since AI's come in. You know,
well, I mean, if that person actually contributed to the track and they, as a producer or a songwriter or, you know, whatever, then it's theirs also.
You know, people get very sort of hit up on, you know, what are the percentages of the splits, you know, but it's not as hard as what people want to try and make it, you know, but it's important to be able to make sure you've got that split sheets available, you know, and have that open conversation. And I'm sure a lot of people are open, you know, in terms of putting that together. But it's so important to put it together because it does show the rights of each individual person, you know, and the parts that they've had within the actual song itself.
And then, you know, the label comes along and they want to take 50%. Lately, I've been seeing contracts where they want to take 60%. Don't sign those. And so, yeah, I mean, I only own 25% of Seven Nation Army.
You keep talking about Seven Nation Army. Let's explain this. What's this all about?
That's my biggest hit song. That's the one that, I mean, it has like 130 million streams on Spotify by itself.
Oh, only 130 million. You must be the most relaxed artist I have ever met. Jaki, seriously, when you say these numbers, you just literally roll them off your tongue as though they're normal. You know, I looked at my Spotify this morning. I thought, you know what? I've got a conversation with Jaki coming up this afternoon. I'm so embarrassed. These numbers are not looking good. She's going to make me look as though I'm a complete amateur. And I've been doing this for 30 years. You know, it's sat there at thousands. I'm thinking, God, I'm going to be talking to Jaki. She's going to be just rolling off the tongue these millions. How much again? How many again?
I think it's 130. It might be 40.
Just 140 million. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. God, that's amazing. Come on.
What
does that really? Come on. You talk about these numbers as though they're just like plucked out of the air. That's 140 million people around the world listening to your song.
I know.
What does that feel
like? It's really hard to really understand. It's not like when you play a performance, you know, like, and you can see the crowd. And I have done a crowd. I did do a crowd once that was 500,000 people. Right at the beginning of my career too. That was like first thing I did.
I've only done a crowd of like 2,000, 500,000 people. Where do you get those type of people? You can't fit with a football stadium.
That was a street festival. That was San Francisco Pride.
Wow.
Yeah, you couldn't see the end of the people. They just kept going.
That must have been amazing. Just the thought of being able to do it. And what was the concert?
Kept me up at night for months in advance. I didn't sleep. I couldn't. Oh my God. Yeah, that was anxiety inducing because it was like the first big stage I ever did.
And it was that many people.
Yeah.
Wow. Geez, the first time I normally went on, it was like 20, 30, 40, 50.
I mean, I had done a lot of performance, like, you know, through the music school and with my family. Like, we used to throw music parties where, like, we'd perform for people, and all of their friends, all my parents' friends were all musicians too. So it was just kind of this, like, performance community. But like, as an artist, that and I had done like some here and there as a singing DJ, which I do now actually again because I much prefer that route. Anyway, so I had done
explain to our viewers what a singing DJ is. What is a singing DJ?
The technical term is like a hybrid DJ. So I do hybrid sets where it's like I'm playing other people's music and then I'm playing my own music. And when I play my own music, I come out from behind the booth and I sing live and interact with the crowd. And it's just like more of a live experience.
And is that really big where you are? Do people do that quite regularly, or is that just something that Jackie does?
That's not, no, most people don't do that. There's a few people I can think of off the top of my head that do that.
But it was just something Jackie just sort of thought about, you know, I'm going to do this, it's going to work.
That was actually a really cool story. So it was Miami Music Week, which if you don't know what that is, that's basically the entire dance music community all comes to Miami for one whole week. And it's the most fun you'll ever have. So I'm at one of the speaking events. It's like a panel thing with a company called Femhouse. And their mission, they're a 501c3, which is a charity that is specifically aimed at helping women and BIPOC people and LGBT people develop their skills in the music industry, in the dance music industry. And it's run by LPGOB, who's like one of the biggest DJs in the world right now. So I'm at this event, and it's this room full of women that are about my age, and they're all DJs, and some of them sing too. And I was like, wait a second. Because the problem with when I tried to DJ when I was younger, when I was like 21-ish, I had no idea how to do it. Like, there was no like teacher that was going to teach me how to put these things together, because like playing sound is one thing, but then like once you have the live element, it can create a lot of, in my case, noise. And I was running into this problem constantly, and I eventually just was like, I give up. I can't figure out why this is happening. So I find myself in this room full of women that are doing it, and I'm there with my best friend / business partner, and we're looking at each other like, we could be doing this. We could do this. We could totally do this. And I remember very specifically, there was one girl that I talked to that I realized later I listened to her music all the time. And I followed her on Instagram. And the next day she opened for Illenium. And I was like, that's it. I'm doing it. And I got a coach, and he was able to help me with the actual DJ art part of that. And then another girl that I met at that same event, no, it was the next year. It was at the Femi Awards. Okay, so it's the same company. It's the Femhouse people. They started an awards ceremony where they award various artists, and it's like the greatest artists in the world. John Summit showed up for his award, for example. I met her as a friend of mine now, Sasha Atlas. She does hybrid shows as well. And I was like, how? And she came over to my house like a couple months later, and she showed me all the gear, and I bought it, and I have it, and I use it all the time. And so I've been able to do these shows, and I've been doing them. And it's been so interesting, the difference between the feedback, the reaction from the people that witness it. It's just been crazy. It's just so different. Like, I used to feel, because I went on tour, I literally had a world tour scheduled for COVID, and then COVID happened. So that
how dare it?
That didn't happen. Instead, I'm actually very, very happy with what happened instead. But the reaction was never the way I wanted it to be. It was never this like, wow, how are you doing this? Because plenty of people can sing and dance and stuff and have dancers, and that's what I was doing. And there's nothing wrong with that. But the hybrid DJ thing is just, it's different enough that when people see it, they stop and they want to see it. And I found that every gig I've done has led to 3 more.
Wow.
Yeah. It's just like, we got contacted to do a big festival in LA next month because somebody in the room at one of my shows here in Fort Lauderdale saw and was like, oh, they'll be perfect. So that
sounds amazing. That actually sounds amazing. Let's get onto your entrepreneur side. Let's get onto your company. Okay. So around all of this and all of these streams and all of the things that you do in the DJ, you decide to set up a company to help independent artists. Okay.
Yes.
Like a mad person, and I don't know how you do it. You must do it in your sleep,
I can do it in my sleep.
You can do it in your sleep. So what elements of the independent industry that do you feel that you help the most? What is it about your company that makes it different to anyone else?
Well, I'm a full 360, like whatever you need help with, I can help you. It's the same thing with my singing, songwriting, and producing stuff. It's like whatever you can't do, I can do. So for these artists that are coming up, it's help with their vocal delivery and their recording and their performance, live performance style, and learning, how to upload a song. I just did this earlier with a client earlier this week. We went through the whole process of like independently putting out a song and like coming up with the cover art and what does that have to be, and from beginning to end. And for example, that artist, she had been trying to put together music on her own, and she was not getting anywhere. And I took one listen and was like, I know why. And so she actually ended up flying out to me because she lives in San Francisco. So she flew over here to Miami and was in the studio, and we spent a week straight recording all day. And we actually got some really good stuff. And I found her a producer that she decided to go with that is amazing. His name is Thomas Hasri. And he was just like spitting stuff out. I mean, it was insane how fast he was. And now she has an actually commercially viable product.
Fantastic. It feels so good. You do a very similar job to what I do here in the UK, and it does feel so good to help so many artists get from the stuck to the unstuck, and you work in different ways as well. You're sort of saying to me before I met, when we last met, about fixing AI and replacing AI vocals. It's a real stuck subject at the moment in terms of AI. And if someone comes to you and said, do you know what, I've got a great piece of AI music, I've got my own lyrics, I didn't use ChatGPT, I've got my great lyrics, and actually I want this song like remastered with some real vocals, where do I go with this?
So I do a lot of that work. I actually had a post go super viral this last week. It's been going crazy out of nowhere. And that was the exact topic of the post, was basically you should hire me for your vocals instead of like AI, or in addition. So that's a really hot topic right now that people are really gravitating towards.
It's a huge.
But some of the people that came to me through there are also people who have generated songs through AI, Suno, or whatever, and they want the human touch. And so the way that I go about that is there's actually two structures that we can go through, which is, the first one is a standard vocal recording where I just do it the way that I would perform it if I were the original artist. And then there's a one-to-one recording, which is more expensive, where I literally recreate every single thing that the robot did. So like if there's a vibrato here, I do it there. If she breathed like quickly here, like a versus I'm gonna do that. If there's a vocal fry over here or rasp or anything, I'm gonna do every single thing exactly the way that the robot originally did it. And sometimes that's really hard because the robots, they're pulling influences for these tracks that they're making from everywhere, from all of time too. So you're getting the sample that they're pulling from are the greatest singers that have ever existed,
Yeah.
And so when you put in something where you're asking for like a powerful vocal with like riffs and runs and stuff, you'll end up with this bridge. There's at least 3 songs I've done in the last 6 months that had a vocal run, which is any single word or sound that has more than 3 notes. 5 notes. 5 notes. A riff is 3 to 5. Anyway, these runs are like literally actually 35 seconds long. Wow. With no breaks. There's nowhere to breathe. You you just keep going. And most humans on Earth cannot do that, but I can.
Hey, there you go. Jackie, you have solved the mystery, because I've had so many people say to me, you know, how can I compete with these AI robots, which, I'm sorry, when Suno first come out, they sounded like robots, I'm sorry. But now they've become so advanced. Even the singers, and some really high-end singers who have literally been in the charts as well, have turned around and said, how the bloody hell do I compete with this AI robot that can sing like this? You know, no wonder people, when they're listening to these AI robots, are starting to be like, well, actually, I'm quite enjoying this AI song. You know, these robots are becoming human, and it's like, I'm going to listen to that song rather than listen to someone who's human. And we're going through a time where we're questioning ourselves as humans, whether or not we are going to be competing with those. But there are artists, like you've just demonstrated there, that can get to that point where, do you know what, actually, they're still robots. They're not going to beat a human being. They're not going to give it the heart what a human being can do.
They can get real close, but yeah, no.
Yeah, no. Yeah, no. I'm glad you're there. And I think the fact that that's part of your business, that someone can come to you and say, do you know what, actually, I don't want a robot in my song. I want a real human being. But you can get close to what that song is.
I do a lot of that. And the reason that I can do it is because I've studied everything. Like going back to the music school, I studied R&B, I studied pop, I studied opera, I studied Italian opera, I studied Spanish opera, I studied jazz, I studied everything. I studied everything. There was nothing else to do.
You're a human jukebox then. There's no genre that you can't do.
I mean, there's certain genres I'm going to sound a lot better in. Like I sound very at home in dance music because that's where I like to live. But I can do a lot of other things. And so because AI is pulling from all of those references all the time, you know, it's just like, it's not that hard for me to just like. Also, one of the things that I've always been really good at is imitation. So I can hear exactly what muscles, and this is why I'm a good coach too. I can hear exactly what muscles are being used in a recording, and I can tell you exactly where they are to be able to recreate them.
Fantastic. So come on, just tell me, is there more Jackies out there when it comes to male and female? Are us humans, you know, starting to get together and say, do you know what, we can be stronger than these robots? Is there males there? Because at the end of the day, if I come to you with an AI track that I've created, I'm sorry, some of it's going to be a male song, you know, so I'm going to need a male influencer out there as well. Are there other people that can do this?
I'm sure they're there. I don't know who they are.
You don't know that. Jackie, you need to meet some males because we need an army by the looks of it, because everybody's saying like the future of music, they can see it being generated by AI in the future. Do you believe that? Do you think we are going to go where there's going to be an AI chart and there's going to be a human chart? Are we got that far yet?
I don't think so.
No.
I think that AI is just like everything else that has ever been invented. It's a tool and you can use it to advance yourself, or you can ignore it and get left behind.
I think that's where I see it at the moment. I think if you do ignore it, it almost seems to be another tool, and we've got to keep up with the 21st century, but use it in a way that still makes it human. I think they're realizing that as well. You know, at Suno, you know, you look at the new Suno that was released last week. It's very much like a DAW now. It's not a cheap version where you can just download it. You know, your stems are more in there. They're becoming to be sitting together with the artists a bit better. Is that how you feel about AI at the moment? Are they sort of coming back to our level?
Yeah, there's actually a different post that I did that did very well also, and that it was also AI related. And I was talking about how Suno released a feature where you, not only the stems, because the stems are cool, but you can't really manipulate them that much. Now they're offering to let you download the MIDI, which If you don't know what MIDI is the data behind notes. So it's mostly just like what the notes are. So if you have a melody that's I don't know, I don't have perfect pitch, but na na na, that's gonna be one note, and that's gonna be one note, and that's gonna be one note, and they're gonna be however long they are. And then when you have MIDI, you can change all of that. So you can change the fundamental sound of it. You can make it a bass. Now you can make it a synth, or you can make it a piano, or you can make it a guitar, and you can change the how hard the note is hit, the attack. You can make it completely your own. So something fun that I've been doing with some of my tracks is I'll like load it into Suno, and then I'll export just the MIDI, and then I never listen to the demo ever again, and I just use the MIDI, and I change everything about it top to bottom. But it saves me the time of like figuring out, okay, for the client, you played this note for this long, and then this note for this long. Like, it just saves me that entire process. It
Fantastic.
just gets me
well, there's lots
faster.
There's lots coming from AI, and we can have a whole show on AI, everyone, because it still sits on the tip of your tongue. But Jaki has got some really good ways in which she can get around these and also make those very robotic sounds quite human, which is really great. But let's get on to the next part of the bio and the next part of your business, sync licensing. For everybody out there, give them your journey around sync licensing. When was your first song actually picked up to go into something amazingly famous?
The first time was they didn't tell us they were going to do it. They didn't get a license, and then they just did it anyway because they thought that I assume because they thought that I would never find out. But I have a friend that's Swedish, and she watched it was an episode of Are You the One on MTV, and she sent me a video, and she's like, "Isn't this your song?" And I was like, "It is." What? And I thanked her, and then I went to the label. I was like, "Do you guys know about this?" And they're like, "No." So that was interesting. But after that, everything has been above board. I've had a couple of Love Island syncs. I did the finale this last year. I got like one of the major moments in that. I also got a placement the year before, also in Love Island US, and then I also got Love Island UK and Love Island Games that year. So Love Island likes that song a lot. There's like two of them.
They obviously love your song. Yeah, they obviously love. What makes your music attractive to Love Island? What is it about it?
You know, it's not a song that I would have immediately thought of as a love song at all. In fact, I wrote it specifically to not be a love song because I was given the tip, because I was working a lot in sync to try to get more sync stuff. Basically stop writing love songs, because there's a million love songs, but there's not that many songs about other stuff, and there's plenty of sync that need the other stuff.
When you say other stuff, what, you know, I've got a couple of artists at the moment that are really keen on trying to get their music into sync licensing. When you're saying other stuff, what are they looking for?
You know, I actually made a list. I call it my mood list. Let's see, let me pull it up. Song moods. I can't see that far. Okay. Hope, wonder, freedom, celebration, frustration, party, adventure, travel, inspiration, friendship, courage, dreams, fun, happiness, determination, success, nostalgia, loss, anger, joy, grief. Like it keeps going. There's so many things you can write about that are not a love song. So there is, and
you know, so many people go for love songs because they've come out of relationships which have completely gone wrong, and it's a first go-to. But there's obviously lots, isn't there?
There's plenty of other things to talk about. And so the song that got synced was a song about success. It's called Come So Far, and the whole thing is like, we've come so far, let's like look back on like how hard we've worked. But they still managed to make it a love song.
So how easy is sync licensing to get into? Is it, you know, it's something that artists don't really know about until they get into it. You know, what's the process of getting into it and sort of like being able to get to what you have done? You know, it doesn't just happen. You don't just get your song placed on Love Island. You know, what's the process?
I actually have to disagree with you there. I think
Okay, go for it. I like it.
The process for me has been to be an absolutely ridiculous perfectionist to the point that I drive producers insane with my perfectionism, such that we have a product that's really, 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 really commercially viable.
Right.
And then we put it out. Because we didn't submit for, I've never submitted for any of those things that I've had.
But when you submit and put it out, what is that process? So who do you go to? You know, you write this piece, you write this piece of music, and you think, oh, that'd be really great for Spider-Man, or that'd be really great for the TV commercial. Where does this music go?
I don't really write that way. I don't really write that way.
No?
If I was going to, then I would. I mean, the music supervisors for that kind of thing are listed on IMDb. You can go find them, and then find them on Instagram and just message them.
Okay, is it that easy? You just literally just message them and they pick up, or?
I mean, I'm sure they're getting a lot of messages, so you probably want to follow up a couple times.
But you literally just put it out there
immediately.
So, would you be giving that advice to other people? Would you say just
Absolutely.
Put it out there?
It's the same. It's the same advice for everything. It's finish songs, put them out. There's a certain level of understanding of music and your own music. I mean, that you cannot get from any other process than release. Like actually putting it out, because now you're like automatically taken out of the producer's chair and you're put in the audience chair. It's a subconscious thing and there's no way to get around it. You can get a lot of the way there, but it's hard. And the way to do it is to keep releasing music. So like for instance, there was one of the first songs that I ever recorded. I was really proud of it, put it out. The second I put it out, I was like, wait a second. There's a little I don't know how to describe it. There was a little thing in the vocal that I would have done differently. And I couldn't even hear it until I put it out. If that makes sense. So
it does, yeah.
So, when you have to be in the audience chair enough times to get to a point where you can put out music that is, at the level that you want. Because a lot of people, they struggle and they spin their wheels just like trying to get better and trying to make the mix better and trying blah, blah, blah. But you have to actually put it out. Then you'll be able to hear it for what it is.
Definitely. And a lot of people get stuck at that stage, don't they? They get, they want to do something, they want to release a track, but they're too scared to put the next track out. They don't think it's going to achieve or it's going to get better, or you get a lot of artists who want to become an artist and so excited about becoming an artist, but that real putting it out bit can actually scare a lot of people.
Yeah. And you just gotta do it. And you don't have to do it. I mean, I think with the one that I'm referring to that I released, that was like my first song, I just put it on SoundCloud. Like it wasn't like I distributed it to Spotify and whatever else. It was just a SoundCloud release. And nobody ever probably noticed that little thing that bothers me to this day. But I can tell you that I have, as I've gotten further down the line of recording, you notice more and more and more and more of those things, and you notice them in other people's recordings too, and they start to bother you in their recordings, and that's when you know that you're getting really good.
Fantastic. And there's nothing better for me. There's nothing better than to hear your own song that you've spent so much time and energy on, and you've worked so hard for, to be heard on the radio. That first radio release. Can you remember what song was yours on the first time you listened to it on radio and where you were?
Yes, I was 18. I was at home. It was the first song that I ever did. That was like a label release. So it was like 2 songs down from the SoundCloud release I was just referring to. This was actually distributed to everything. And they got BBC Radio 1. discovery. And yeah, that was pretty cool.
That's amazing. And Radio 1's not easy. To try and get a song on Radio 1 is not easy. A lot of our artists here in the UK, we hear BBC introducing. We can get to that level, but to literally go straight to Radio 1. So, chart hits. Have you had chart hits?
Yeah, I've had three originals on Billboard. One of them went to the number 9 spot on the dance club charts, and the other one went to number 10.
Fantastic, brilliant.
And the third one,
double diamond certificate. Now, tell us about this double diamond. I keep reading it in your bio. Double diamond certificate in bars. What is that?
So, a lot of people have heard the phrase like it went platinum, but that's actually the lowest tier of certification. After that, it depends on the country. But there's like platinum, and then there's like gold, and then there's diamond.
So right at the top here, yeah.
So in France, the level for certification, I think, is 60 million. I think it's 60 million streams for a song. And that gets you platinum. So we got there a couple years ago. This year, we got all the way to double diamond.
That's amazing. And that was in Canada?
That was in France. We got golden.
You make it sound you're so relaxed. Jaki, you're so relaxed. Well, all these artists that I've interviewed, I think you're the most relaxed artist I've ever interviewed. This is a double diamond, It's just one of those things. Nicki Minaj was just working out on my training video. It's just one of those things. Just stage... when you meet all these people and you speak to all these people and you hear about all these people, come on, you must have been scared at first.
Well, I grew up with those people. I mean, I lived in LA. So, like, the people I went to high school with, I went to school with the Jenners. Like, Kylie and Kendall. I rode the bus to school with them.
Wow. So it never fazed you. It was just a normal life for you.
Yeah. I mean, it was exciting, for sure. But it's... I don't know. I'm so used to like celebrity in my life. Like one of my good friends growing up when I was like 13, her dad was Quincy Jones.
Wow.
Yeah. Like just casual.
You just casual.
Yeah.
But I think that shows me something. And I think one of the biggest things for me when I first started interviewing, I've interviewed well over 1,000 people now. And when I first started interviewing musicians and film stars, I used to get very starstruck until I met a lovely lady who is a good friend of mine for the Vampire Diaries. And she made me feel so relaxed, made me feel like actually I'm part of her world. And it didn't need to be this star-studied people out in the media that are shown in the magazines and shown on the TV. They're always shown as though they're unreachable. You can't talk to them. And I think Youngblood's a really good example of a modern day artist. Someone who will connect with his fans, connect with his family, connect with his presenters. And I think when you are talking about the music industry, especially for the younger generation, is the message that actually, yes, it is stardom and glitter and whatever, but you're all just normal people, day-to-day people who are relaxed just as much as Jaki. Actually having all these things still behind you, these massive great awards, you're still Jaki. And actually that's the way you want to be talked to and spoke to and, referenced from. And, I think that worries a lot of people that you're going to become detached from your family or you're going to become detached from reality.
Yeah, sorry, that one actually kind of caught me off guard because I am a little bit detached from my family at the moment, but
Fine.
that is not my but yeah, no, I've just like grown up with these people who, I mean, I watched Kendall go from like a girl who had a ton of acne and was really awkward and lanky and to, what she is now. Like, it's just, like my success just feel like it just like pales in comparison. It's just like, oh yeah, I got to do this thing all day, which is great.
Fantastic. So
there's another girl I went to high school with is like, she got on the 30 under 30 list a couple of years ago. Let's see. One of my friends from high school was Alec Baldwin's daughter. Like, it was just always around.
It's mad. So this is mad how you're talking about this. It's so natural. It's lovely to hear. But it is, and people, you've got to realise that this is the life of people, and at the end of the day, it can be your life as well. You've built a business for hopefully to help people achieve this. What is going to be your mission for the next sort of 12 months, next sort of couple of years, to be able to let people believe that they can get there? What steps can is your business going to put in place, but to enable people to have those dreams and be able to get to where they want to be?
Well, I mean, that business hasn't really changed much since I was, 20. I started coaching then because I had grown up in the music school, and I've never advertised for my business.
Okay.
It's just like, people just come to me, and I am willing to give my time and work with them to figure out what they need. I have one client who, when he first came to me, all we did the whole class was literally, I'd press one note and I'd be like, nope, it's higher. Nope, lower. Higher. Nope, lower. That was the entire class. And I still coach him to this day, and now he's getting paid to sing on stages in LA.
Wow, fantastic. That's amazing. But we all want to come to Jaki Nelson. How are we going to come to you? After hearing your story today, there's going to be a lot of people going to go, I want to work with Jaki. She sounds amazing. She's got all these amazing stars around her. She's got 2 million streams and all that sort of stuff. How do we get to Jaki? What, do we go for a website? What do we do?
Yeah, you can come to my website. The easiest way to get in touch with me really is Instagram. It's at Jaki Nelson. I do a lot of, especially since that post went super viral this last week. Oh my gosh, I've spent probably like 3 hours a day on Instagram just responding to messages.
Okay, so everybody out there who has seen the show today, we've all got to go on Instagram to come and find you if we want to work with you.
Yes, and Jaki is Jaki. Oh yeah, you can see it, right? You can see the spelling.
Yeah, it's on the bottom if everybody can see it. So it's scrolling on the bottom here. Okay, yeah. Fantastic. So we will all be getting in contact with you. Do you know what? In terms of the connection between Phoenix Connect and also with you, Jaki, I would love for you to come and join us over at Phoenix Rise and Seeds Project, because we've got so many members who would love your advice and your services. You've got some amazing background stories as well that, we'd love to sort of invite you into. So I'm going to get in contact with you after today's show.
Sounds good.
Because this is about bringing businesses to you as artists. And I hope you've all enjoyed this show and Jaki's amazing stories of the music industry. Your bio is phenomenal, and we're really looking forward to working with you in the future. Is there anything else that you'd like to finish the show on before we go today? Because by the sounds of it, you need to get back to your Instagram posts. Honestly,
they're probably building up right now. If I'm in town, come to my show. It's fun.
Fantastic. Well, let's see that. By the sounds of it, we will be there at the front door, knocking on the door and coming to see you. Have an absolutely pleasant afternoon over where you are. We're going to close the show in the UK. It is now 7 p.m. and the lights are starting to get dark. We will see you again on Phoenix Connect very soon. We got a show on Sunday, so if you are around on Sunday, please come and see us, because we have got someone who is able to, by the power of AI, make your lives easier to be able to book your next gig. Please make sure you join and look for those posters. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.